Hello, everybody. Hang with us a second. Some people have not been getting their the codes to the recording, and we will send them out. All right, welcome everybody to the class. And there was a little technical error today. That what happened is that we had accidentally sent out the recording at 5 p.m. Pacific and changed the recording and the show to 4 p.m. Pacific. Apparently, when it did that, it made the link not work. So what we're going to do today is we are going to do the recording. We're slowly getting the information out to people as we speak. And those of you that missed part of it, you'll get the recording as usual in the mail. Anyway, so we're going to talk today about an amazing topic, amazing topic called time management. And man, it's crazy when we go into companies and we talk to them about some of their needs and areas where they want to grow their business, or on coaching calls with their individual coaching clients. People say, you know, I really need to, I need time management. I really need help in this area. So what I want to share with you today is some concepts on how to be better with your time. And we call it a skill issue or a will issue when a person's producing or not producing. And a will issue has to do with attitude usually. Attitude, things like they're depressed, or they're off schedule, or they're in a situation where they have a bad attitude, or there's a variety of different things that happen that would cause somebody to be off schedule. Okay, there's a variety of things that would cause people to be off schedule, and if we can work around working through the will issue and make sure that they're on schedule, then we need to work through the skill issue. And skill issue is techniques. I'm actually going to teach you today on time management techniques on how to be good with time management, which will handle the will issues. So I love to kind of share with people that if you can increase your time management skills, you can get better in prioritizing tasks and activities, can eliminate unnecessary activities, and you can manage your personal and professional time. Your life is going to be so much less stress. And I want to start with an example today that I shared yesterday on my Facebook Live about the famous rocks, pebbles, sand, water example. And I want you to imagine, if you will, for a moment, that you have a big pickle vat, that if you go to the county fair, and at the county fair, you're actually getting like a big giant pickle, and it's like a big plastic container. And we took the pickles out and we filled it with rocks the size of softballs. And what would happen is, if you filled it all the way to the top, most times you'll ask people, is it full? And of course they'll say yes if they've never seen this exercise. And the story goes that a professor was giving this exercise to his students in a class. And what happened was, it was really interesting, he then pulled out a bucket of pebbles the size of golf balls, a little bit smaller, and kind of carefully they made the pebbles fall into the vat, the pickle vat, and it was now full to the top with the little small pebbles and the big rocks. And he said to the class, is it full? And they said, well, yeah. And they said, no. And he pulled out another bucket full of sand and very carefully moved the bucket, the vat, and sand all the way to the top. And now it is not moving. It's heavy. He said, is it full? And honestly, he said, no, it's not. And he added water. And what I want to share with you is time management is all about prioritizing your tasks. what are the rocks of your life? You know, for me, and I shared this yesterday, it's my significant other, it's my daughter, it's certain clients that I have, it's my physical fitness, it's eating right, it's prospecting time when I'm looking for new clients, it's training time like this. I have time with friends is a rock for me, and family, and the rocks go on your calendar first, so that you still have time to get to the less important things like pebbles, sand, and water. See, if you were to put water into, no joke, put water into the pickle vat first, what would happen is you would not be able to put your rocks, pebbles, or sand in there. So let's really dig in to this whole time management thing, and it starts with what we call the slinky effect. And here's how the slinky effect works. If you have a negative slinky, an event occurs, you get off track, and your schedule suffers. Once you get behind and become consumed with catching up, and your thoughts scatter. As your thoughts begin to scatter, you lose focus, it becomes easy to get overwhelmed, and your attitude falters. And as your attitude starts to fall apart, your production slows. So finally, because over time you've had great results, now you don't, your self-esteem crashes. All because you got off track with the event occurring. So we actually say the solution, and the slinky effect really cool. Guys, I tell a lot of people all the time, go out and buy a slinky. Go to the toy store and buy a slinky. No joke. Put that slinky in your office to remind you of this simple thought process of moving from a negative slinky to the positive slinky. That's the solution to refocus. Hey guys, put yourself on mute if you're with people in the room. The solution is to refocus yourself and put your self-esteem into your work habits and not into your production. A schedule is being where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to be doing little things right, has nothing to do with your producing. So this is the really cool part. Positive slinky is first you convince yourself that as long as you're on schedule, then you're doing a good job, and immediately you gain confidence and your self-esteem increases. Now you're feeling better and purely focused on doing what you said you would do when you said you'd do it, and you get back on schedule. And once you're back in the right places at the right times, it becomes easier to perform, and your thoughts refocus. Now that you've become, now that you have control of your previously wandering thoughts, your attitude improves, and because you have a great attitude, the numbers game increases and your production increases. So those of you that all do all different industries, we have people on here from so many different franchises. We have people, some of you new ones on here from Bottle and Bottega. You guys could maybe be planning a party, and something else happens, and all of a sudden you get off track, and oh my God, I didn't hit my goals today, I didn't do my marketing calls, or Grease Monkey. I know you guys are on these calls quite often, and you want to get out there and do some networking, but man, customers came in, and I got off track, and I didn't have a game plan, and I could go through each different company that we're working with, and we got to remember that if we get back on track with doing what we said we do when we said we do it, and I'm going to give you some ideas today of how to put your calendar together so you stay focused, because focus is power. Focus is power. And putting your self-esteem not into the results you get at the end of the day, but put your self-esteem into, I did today what I said I'd do. And in many businesses, it's spending time to market and prospect. In many businesses, it's spending time to study like this, taking an hour to actually study so I can be better when I'm doing what I'm doing. So the slinky effect is really cool. It's really a powerful thing. So I'm going to give you now several different tips. And what I want you to do is we go through the tips. You guys have your handout. All of you have been emailed it by Janet. You're going to star, put a circle around it, or whatever, the 5 or 6 that resonate with you the most, rather than trying to understand all of these concepts. I see Laura there, and Vicky, and Christine, and several of you others that have already joined. Welcome. Welcome. And so go through these different topics that I give you and go, oh, that one's a good one for me. Star it, because our mind only allows us to retain so much information. So I always say take the best of the best and leave the rest. So the first concept I want to teach you is a concept that I learned a long time ago from the Franklin Covey Institute, and I've actually elaborated on it since then. And it talks about every day on your calendar, putting next to all of your to-do items, okay, and you guys may be able to see, I use Microsoft Outlook, but I still use a Franklin planner. And I have on my Franklin planner, I have all the things that I'm doing during the day right here. And then I actually compare it against what I said I would do. And it's all also in my Outlook too that I can see it. But I prioritize my A's, B's, and C's. So my A's are my rocks. My A's are things that must get done. I have an A next to them. I cannot compromise on them. My B's are things that should get done. And my C's are do it if you have time. So make this list the night before. I try to get to all my my A's and B's by 2 or 3 o'clock if I can, so I still have time to get to my C's. The next one that's really important in any business you're doing is you schedule prospecting and marketing time. It goes on your calendar first. I'm not reactive waiting for the phone to ring. I'm every day trying to do anywhere from 60 to 70% IPA. And IPA stands for income producing activities. So if you're working an 8-hour day, if you can spend 4 to 5 hours prospecting, presenting, sharing what you do to the world, and 30 to 40% managing the business, doing the books, doing the paperwork, doing things like that, you will have a very successful business. What I see often, though, in the sales world is that an owner or manager looks at how they're spending their day. Wow, I only spent 10% of my day marketing. I spent 0% of my day marketing a day. I was just delivering. And then all you're ever doing, you're not growing the business, you're trading dollars for hours. So you have to be able to have, and I want you to write this down, the either and mentality. The either and mentality. I'm going to operate the business and I'm going to market and prospect. So the next thing that we recommend people do is you must be aware of what you're doing. Out of sight, out of mind. Sometimes we're so close to it, we don't even see what we're doing. So I'm going to give you all an assignment. And the assignment is for 21 days. It takes 21 plus or minus 2 days to form a habit. You're going to write down everything you do from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night. So I got up at 6:30. I snoozed 3 times. I took a shower. I got dressed by 7:45. I was up getting breakfast out of the house by 8. Drove 20 minutes to work. 8:20 to 9 o'clock, I was on emails. Then I was kind of playing around on Facebook a little bit. And then I actually called a friend. Oh my God, it's 10 o'clock. I haven't really done anything productive yet. So start to write down everything you're doing. And what starts to happen is you start to see you're more on time. You're taking, your lunches aren't as long. You're not finishing early. You're not going to be an email slave. You start, it's like, if anybody's ever been in the weight loss industry before, the weight loss centers require you to write down everything you're eating so that you then probably won't eat the ice cream. You probably won't do it because you have to see it in writing. You got to talk to your coach. And it's the same thing with managing your time, is write everything down that you're doing. Next, is set aside time for creative thinking. Do it while in the car, between meetings, or schedule 5 to 10 minutes a day to just think through how you're going to be successful that day. Think innovatively. Think positively. People love creativity. When people do creative things, it subtly sends a message you'll go the extra mile once you have the business. So what do you do that's creative, and how much of your time, daily or weekly, is to come up with creative things? Now, I think I taught creative marketing on one of the other things. It's in my book. If anybody, you can go to southwesternconsulting.com and go to products, and you can get the book Getting In and Getting Out. And I have a whole chapter on creative marketing and little voice messages you can leave for people, little mail outs and drop offs that go, oh, that's cute. I want to work with these guys. There's a whole chapter on that in the book. Next thing about managing time is plan for it. I live in the Bay Area, San Jose, California, and we have a lot of traffic out here. And are you planning for things that could possibly go wrong in the day? I tell my people to plan 1 hour free every day. Now, one thing you should do on your calendar, if you were to look at your Microsoft Outlook calendar, is you want to have every minute of your day blocked off. And so there should not be white spots on your Microsoft Outlook calendar. If I'm going 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I'm doing my marketing. 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, I'm doing emails. 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I'm doing a presentation. 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I'm doing X. 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I'm prospecting again. 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I got interviews. The reason is when you have blank areas, it often gets filled with minutia, and it gets filled with sand and water, not the important pebbles and rocks. So make sure to put everything on the calendar. Make your calls is another one. When people are calling you and you're not making the outbound call, we find that you should be more tactful and polite and be brief on the phone calls because you control it. However, if you're calling them and you need to spend a little bit more time and socialize and build rapport, then of course it can be longer. But if you were to shorten not that important calls up over and over and over the year, you would have more time. So, you know, hey, thanks for calling. I got a quick 10 minutes I can share with you real quick. Hey, thank you for calling. I've got a few minutes before our party starts. Hey, thank you for calling. I've got another person that'll be calling in just a moment, but I want to take a few minutes and answer any questions you have. By being sensitive to that, you're going to cut off the time on lengthy phone calls. Now, here's another topic that really becomes big, and this is the topic of doing things right the first time. Doing things right the first time. Because it is a waste of time, a major waste of time, if you have to go back and fix it. So get your scripting down, get your close down, get your scripts that you're going to say when you're calling into people, or when you're doing a presentation. Schedule things in the evenings and weekends until you have the essentials down. Until then, discipline's the key. So that what I mean by that is if you're going to study and practice and whatnot, don't do it in what we call your golden nugget time. And your golden nugget time is the 8 to 10 hours that you're the most likely to be getting phone calls and working with people. And so you don't want to waste time doing the $5 and $10 an hour jobs during that time. The $5 and $10 an hour jobs are things you do on the weekend or nighttime, and it's a little bonus work. I was saying people, I had a person last week tell me he needs to clean his garage. He needs to clean his garage. And he's in sales. Like, when are you going to do that? Oh, I'm going to do that Tuesday morning. Dude, you're in sales. When are your clients there? My clients are there 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So you need to use those, we call those golden hours, to absolutely do your rocks and pebbles in the golden hours. And then the things like the clean the garage would be more like sand and water than the non-income producing hours. Here's another good one. And I know many of you guys are probably caught up with this. I know at times I do too. It's called learning to say no. Learning to say no. You know, if you're always feeling busy and overwhelmed, which, gosh, so many people say that to me. Say no to one person every week and start to notice how some of your time is freed up. So what could you say no to in your life, your personal life and your business life that would free up more time to do things that are going to get production? Think about that for a moment. Oh boy, this is a big one. I need to take a water sip before this one because it's huge. Paper handling. Now, for most of us, there's a lot less paper than there used to be. A lot more stuff's done electronically. A lot more can be done. You can even sign things over the phone. You can do electronic signatures. However, if you get an email or you get paperwork in the mail or you get a paperwork from a meeting you attend and you don't have some organization where it would go in a folder or somewhere it's going to go, over a while it becomes a cluster. And after a while it becomes difficult to manage. So we call it the 5 Ds. And with every paperwork that comes in, every email that comes in, there's some sort of action item to it. And so it either is going to go into do something now pile, the defer to a later time pile, the delegate to someone else pile, which is often very hard for people because they don't want to lose control. There's the dump it, get rid of it, delete it, or the don't know. don't know. And I personally have 5 piles. They're on my computer, or they're actually on piles in my office. And every Sunday, my goal is to try to move things out of the don't know pile into the dump pile, to the completed pile, to I need to defer this. But I never want a lot of loose ends hanging around. And so this might be a very good one for you guys to come up with. What are your 5 piles? What are your 5 folders? So when I get something, it has a home. Okay, another one that's big in business is knowing your statistics, knowing your stats. So everybody has different businesses here, but you should understand the concept of ratios. Because when you understand the concept of ratios, you can then use your time wisely and only spend time on things that make sense and are absolutely the best use of time. So like, I want to know, how many dials do I have to make to get a contact to talk to somebody about what I do? How many contacts where I'm actually speaking with somebody or in person do I have to talk to get to a qualified lead for what we do? How many qualified leads do I have to talk to and set appointments with to talk to get what we call a workshop? In a workshop where we go out and do a complimentary training to demonstrate what our company does, or a discounted training, demonstrate what our company does. It could be a webinar, an in-person, and it's our way of like auditioning to do further work with the company. So how many appointments does it take to get one workshop? How many workshops do I have to run to get a sale, or do I have to get a referral, or how many referrals do I have to get an appointment? Like every referral I get one appointment. And so I want you guys to know where to tweak your own stats. And remember, you guys are on retainer with me, so you can call the office at 408-888-4848. It's not just these calls once a month. And you can ask questions about how do I tighten that up for my business. I'm a big advocate of CAR University. CAR University. And CAR University is the concept of listening in the car, books on tape, podcasts, but you can learn in your car. And what I mean by that is most of us spend several hours a week in the car. And why would you not want to be pouring content into your mind? So if you do an average of 15 minutes a day, let's say, of car work, of studying, of listening to this conference today, because time management is so big. But if you were to listen every single day for 1 hour a day, you would have it down pretty good. You'd really have it down. Now, people say, well, what does testimonials have to do with time management? I'll tell you what it has to do. When you have a book of champion letters, okay, where they're all people that are excited about what you do, and testimonial letters, and they're happy and they like what you do, when someone else says how good you are, it takes a lot of the pressure off you to say how good you are, and how you don't have to try as hard. So you want to have as many testimonials as you can, so that when, how do you say this? So that when someone gives you an objection, you have a testimonial right there at your fingertips to overcome it. And it's absolutely huge. Overcoming objections allows you to have a ton of momentum, so that the power of Mo is the concept of, if you had a speeding locomotive train and it was going down the track at 100 miles per hour, if you had momentum, you could break through a 10-foot thick brick wall. If you have no momentum, no joke, a little wooden block would go in front of the train track, and the train, it wouldn't even go anywhere. So momentum is huge. So are you in the office early getting organized and ready? Are you planning during the day? Are you leaving message for people in the morning? That way when they get to the office, they already have a message from you. Are you having some sort of sense of urgency about getting things done? Because a lot of people will say, oh, I'm just going to work, and they're just waiting for things to happen rather than making things happen. And you can absolutely rock it in your business if you have a rainmaker mentality and you get momentum. So if you work with more than one person, I always talk about this concept of being a role model. How do you spend time in the office is really a big deal, and it's contagious and affects others. So if you're efficient, positive, on time, stay late, that energy will be affected by the whole company. And so I always say to people, do half of what your team does right. Your team will do half of what you do right and twice of what you do wrong. And they do role model you, and they do what you do. So be aware of being on top of that. And besides being a role model, you have to know what time of the day can I get in and talk to these decision makers. And often the best time to catch the higher decision makers is it's when before work, after work, lunch, etc. So think about the time is when it's good to catch the hard to reach prospects, and when's going to be your planning time. I do like to plan the night before, so there's nothing, everything is always set up the night before. I can't sleep at night if I don't have the next day already set up. It's a big deal. And then lately, I have been really advocating virtual assistants. Virtual assistants, people that can help you. All you guys have been getting the emails from Janet. She lives in Nashville. I live in San Jose, but we're connected all the time. We can FaceTime each other. We can text each other. We can call each other. She's amazing to help what we do facilitate easily through all of you that are in the course. We do recommend to maintain time. You have a really good standard operating procedure so that it's duplicatable, and so that you can then measure the efficiency of it. If it's a whole different aspect of different systems and processes, and one person's doing this, and one person's doing that, that is not a good thing. We want to encourage you to have balance in your life, and we want you to know that, honestly, it takes, like I said, 21 days to form a habit. So what you're going to want to do is you want to take this module, and you want to really go deep and understand the concepts, pick out your favorite 5, and with those favorite 5, study, drill them, rehearse them, and watch what happens. So I've had people that have taken this session, time management, and a couple weeks later they're saying, "Oh my God, Gare, I've been getting so much more done. I've been more efficient. I'm more productive because I have a game plan how to stay focused." So with that, I'm Gary Michaels. If you have questions, you can raise your hand now, or you can email me at gmichaels@southwesternconsulting.com, or you can text me at 408-888-4848, and we're absolutely here to help you. Apologize about the first part of the call today. The code was wrong, so many of you missed the beginning of it because we couldn't get the code out, but you will get the class shortly, and thank you guys for hanging with us. Remember, it's totally time to turn it up a notch with your time management so you can have the skill match the will. So anybody that's still on, if you want to ask questions, you can come off mute and you can ask me questions. I do often get questions, and you can comment whatever you like. I'm here for you. And then again, my email is gmichaels@southwesternconsulting.com. That's gmichaels@southwesternconsulting.com. And you guys can reach out to me there too. But there's so much powerful stuff in this module of time management. It's really important that you remember about the rocks, the pebbles, the sand, and the water example. So does anybody have any questions, thoughts, things you want to bring to the table? I'm here for you. Okay, then the next call will be in about a month. Janet will send you the information. Remember, every 2 weeks we have the review call. You always can call into the office with questions, like we've said many times. So have a great couple weeks, and we'll talk to you soon.